Welcome back, everyone. Saturday, the 28th of February, 2026, and I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Richard Inman. Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Hey, Paul, how are you, mate?
Well, I'll be all right if I could hear you a bit better, mate. That old mic's got to come a lot closer to your mouth, I think.
Right, I think I know what's happening there. Just bear with me.
Okay, I'll bear with Richard whilst he gets himself sorted out. Good evening, everyone. It's going to be...
What about that?
Another bit, it's a bit better, Richard. Still needs to be louder. We've got 809 people already watching. Good evening to you all. Let Richard get his audio sorted out. What do they say?
Try that, Paul.
It's horrible, mate. It's horrible. It's all
Yeah,
feedback and everything.
Yeah, okay.
We'll go back to that mic then. Let's have a look.
Yeah, but just need to get that turned up, mate. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have two new moderators this evening, Geordie Lass and FP. Thank you for helping us out. Appointed by the one and only Ian. Good evening, Claire, as well. Now, reports are coming in that the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran has now been, they're saying he's been confirmed as being killed. But we here on this show, we have some inside information that would suggest that reports of his death may be greatly exaggerated. This came in earlier on from Luton. And then we had another sighting in Telford. We believe there's no rumours that Zach Polanski has asked him to join the Green Party. And we can actually confirm that his best friend has invited him for a place in his cabinet. There you go. That's where he is. How you doing there, Richard?
Yeah, what's that like, Paul? Is that any better?
Exactly the same. What have you been doing to your settings, mate?
Nothing to my settings, and I'm not in the mood for a row over it. Let me just put it that way.
That sounds like a good start.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know what the hell's going on with it.
Shall I boot you out and bring you back in?
Yeah, try it.
Yeah, I'll try you out, mate. There you go. Oh, dear. Right, guys, welcome, everyone. Richard is in the back. They're hopefully getting his audio sorted out, and then we can get started. Is that any better, mate? Let me try out.
Hold on, mate.
I'm just wondering if I can turn your audio up. Let me try and turn your audio up. I don't think I can.
1 2 1 2.
Edit mic settings. Note you are on the fullest setting there. It just, when you put it closer to your mouth, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's as close as it can get. It's basically there.
That's it. You know. That's perfect.
The problem is I can't hold my mic up like that all night. Hang on. I'll build an improvised mic stand with a whole lot of books. How's that?
That's it. That's perfect.
Can you hear that?
That's better. That's better, mate. That's much better. So how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not bad.
You look a bit stressed.
I'm not stressed, Paul. I'm just pissed off, to be honest with you.
Go on.
No, I'm just absolutely sick, sore, and tired of idiots and morons. To be brutally honest with you, that's just the mood I'm in. I'm just going to be honest, you know. And I've pretty much had it with, you know, with people talking about stuff they don't know what they're talking about, and basically, you know, making false accusations against me. You know, attacking my family, attacking my friends, being racist, and just being absolute idiots. And I've had it up to my teeth, to be honest with you.
Attacking your family and your friends is not on, mate. I mean, look, Richard, if you want to get it off your chest, please do so.
I am going to get it off my chest, Paul, because I tell you what I've seen in the last 2 weeks. I've seen the most sickening and disgusting racism that I've ever seen in this movement. Absolutely sickening. I've seen the most sickening attacks on me, sickening attacks on friends of mine, on very close friends of mine, Ben, you know, Baraka, Base Bougie, you know, the list goes on. Danny Roscoe, people that we know for a long time, right, are getting this, and they're getting it from vile, disgusting people, right? And I've had enough of it. I'm not going to put up with it. And if anybody wants to unsubscribe to my platform, please feel free to do so. Because if you're racist or you're amplifying these racists, I don't want anything to do with you. And I just want to get that out there, Paul, because it's been eating away at me. I've said nothing. I've kept my mouth shut, and you know I don't care because I know In fullness of time, everything I've said will be completely vindicated. I'm not going to say any more about it. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to talk about people. I'm just going to say I know I'll be vindicated. And it's got what I've got to say has got to be said, and I'm not going to say any more on it now. That's me. I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What I'm actually going to do, Paul, I'm going to produce in a few weeks' time all the evidence I've collated to completely vindicate and prove everything that I've said is true. And that's it.
Yeah. Richard, look, we had a brief chat, just so the viewers know, we had a brief chat earlier on. I know Richard's not overly happy, and I don't blame him, quite honestly. I'm going to leave him to do his own thing, whatever he wants to do on the channel, on his channel. Look, Richard, I've had people on my case today saying that I should dump you as a friend, and I've told them that's never going to happen.
Well, here's the thing, Paul. Let me just tell you something about those people, right? Anybody that followed me for the 10 years that I've been doing this knows me, right? Knows that if I'm saying something and I feel passionately about it, I'm never going to back down. And it makes me dig in even more and even more angry. And I'd like to ask those people that are asking you to dump me off your channel. To be honest with you, Paul, I don't really care. If you dump me off my channel, it wouldn't bother me. I mean, if that's all our friendship was worth, you wouldn't be worth a friend. And I know you'd never do it. But the people that are asking for that, first of all, I'd like to ask them, what is this hanging offence that I've committed, right? What have I actually done that has been? Because I'll tell you what I've done, Paul. I've exposed and called out racists, anti-Semites, and people that are genuinely very bad and sinister people. That's what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I've exposed them, and I'm going to continue to expose them, and I'm going to expose them in a very calm. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to get angry with people. I'm not going to shout. My wife said to me, she says, look, she says, just don't shout. Just don't shout. She says, I know you believe in what you're saying and what you're doing, but just don't shout. But I tell you now, Paul, I will be vindicated, and the truth will come out. And all those people that pretended to be friends, that pretended to be followers, and all of a sudden are now hating on you, they're not worth having as followers anyway, Paul.
Yeah.
So as far as I lost like 500 subscribers.
Yeah, me too, Richard. Yeah, me too. Me too.
Do you know what? My attitude is
good riddance. Yeah. Good riddance.
What I've got remaining, and there's so many, and so that's the negative stuff out of the way. But what I want to say is the amount of really good people that have come round me and supported me, and thank me for what I'm doing, thank me for the stand I'm taking, far outweighs any of the haters and any of the people that are against me. So like I say, I know what side I'm on, and I know I'm on the right side of history. I know exactly what's going on. A lot of people aren't privy to what's going on. I am, and I know exactly what's happening. And if I stayed silent, Paul, I wouldn't be able to live with my conscience, because my conscience would be ringing in my ear like an alarm clock, and I'm not going to do that. So if people don't like me, that's fine. I don't really care. If you don't like me, I'm never going to see you. You're irrelevant.
What I would say to any of those people out there, and then we'll leave it at that, Richard, right? Because we've got other things to talk about tonight. What I would say is, I wasn't
going to do that, Paul. I actually wasn't going to do it. I had no intention of doing that, and I just thought, you know what, this something, because normally I don't fight my own corner. Normally I just blast on and don't say anything. But who do these people think they are? They know nothing about me. A lot of them are little dribbly creeps that flip and sit behind a keyboard, never move from behind a keyboard, never come to demos, right? Who are they? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Mate, listen, I'm trying to let it be water off a duck's back. But what they should do is they should tell you specifically what exactly you've done wrong. And more importantly, I'd like to know what they're trying to achieve by it. But look, let's move on. Richard, we've got big things going on, not only around the world, but obviously back here at home as well. First of all, news tonight. I don't know if you see those pictures I put up. I don't think you did you? But
no.
Never mind. I'll just give you a quick flash again, just in case. I was saying that the news of the Ayatollah's death may be greatly exaggerated, because we had this in from Luton earlier. This came in from Telford. There is a strong rumour that Zach Polanski has offered him a job in up there in Galton and Denton, but the actual truth of the matter is he's moved in with Keir Starmer. So there you go. That's where the Ayatollah is.
That's fiction imitating truth there, isn't it, Paul?
What I mean? Exactly.
Here's the thing about all this, right? I hope he is dead, right? I hope he is dead. And I'll tell you why, because that man is a tyrant. He is responsible for untold deaths since obviously he took over
Yeah.
from
Right across Europe, right across the
do you remember
world.
that? Do you remember that other evil devil of a man, Ayatollah Khomeini, and then the
Amazing,
next
yeah.
one, the really original with the names, it went from Khomeini to Khomeini.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolute savage, brutal people. And here's the thing: while there's all the infighting and all the craziness going on in our movement, these people are taking over our country. Gorton and Denton is a prime example. And I think this is another reason why I'm so wound up, because when you look at all the infighting and the racism, right, the real threat to our country is coming from people like the Ayatollah and his supporters. The real threat to our country is coming from Islamist extremists that want to take over our country and turn it into a caliphate. And Paul, since I've started this, that has been the sum total of my fight. I've been against all extremism, right?
Yeah.
All extremism. And I physically fought the far right. And I've physically fought the far left. And that's what we're up against. And of course, we're up against the Islam. And I've had it with the Islamists as well, right? So that is our fight, Paul. Our fight is against extremism. So there's no compromise with any extremism. We are the center ground. We are the good people. We are the ones on the right side of history. We are the ones, like you always say, with red, white, and blue in our heart. And when we've got these fanatics in our country, in our midst, 32% of Muslims want Sharia law, at least. The polling averages at 42% over the last 20 years. Because unlike a lot of people that, that just slabber on the internet, I actually look at all the stats for the past 20, 30 years, because I've been watching this since 1984. So I have a little bit of experience at it. You know what I mean? So the polling shows that on average about 40% of people, some of the polls can go as high as 75% of Muslims want Sharia law in the UK, right? Now, that's serious. That's not to do with skin colour, Paul. You can be a ginger bearded jihadi, right? You're just as crazy as Abdul that's just got off the boat from Afghanistan, right? We've seen these ginger jihadis down at Speaker's Corner. We've seen them in Luton. We've seen them, mincing round, trying to take over churches. We are facing a massive existential threat from radical Islam. Now, here's the thing about this, right? What's happening in Iran is going to be a massive blow to the Islamic revolution throughout the world. Majid Nawaz used to call it a global jihadi insurrection. That's what Majid Nawaz used to call it before he got re-radicalized. So this is what we're facing in the UK could turn us into Iran or Lebanon, and that's what we should be very, very mindful of. So although it's great that this mad mullah's been taken out.
What do you make of Starmer's response so far?
Oh, well, he's pandering to the Islamists.
Yeah.
The reason he didn't get involved is because, do you know why he didn't get involved in this operation? Because of the Gorton and Denton by-election.
Well, it's strange you should say that, because he sort of changed his tune a little bit this afternoon, didn't he? I think probably after he got confirmation that Khomeini was dead.
And probably after Trump got on the phone and went, imagine what the Americans must be thinking.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
Imagine what the Americans must be thinking of their best ally. Can everyone hear me okay there? Is that can you hear that, Paul?
You are low, Richard, you're low, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's acceptable. It's acceptable.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, Paul, and we really need to. I'm going to try something else here, Paul. Just bear with me. This might actually fix it. Is that any better?
No, it's all right. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just carry on.
Yeah.
So look, I've got a load of notes here, Richard. They're all over the place, so you'll have to bear with me. First of all, I mean, look, what does it mean for us at home? What do you think it means for us at home? Will it cause more problems? Will it cause less problems? What's your take on what it's going to?
I think it makes no difference whatsoever. We're on a trajectory to absolute catastrophe.
I mean, short term, over the next 2 weeks.
I think it's very unlikely the security service will be all over those sleeper cells. Be very unlikely that they don't know who they are, they don't know where they are. You know, look at how good the intelligence the Israelis have got, that they managed to launch an airstrike through, into a bunker that's meant to be a bomb-proof bunker, and wipe out the Ayatollah and all
But
his
you know, I
mates.
don't understand. Here's the thing that I don't understand, Richard, right? And I really don't understand this at all. So all these people have been caught today with this airstrike, including the leader, his family, etc., etc., etc. A load of people have been caught today. My granddaughter was in Dubai the week before last, and her dad said to me, I want her home by the weekend because something's going to kick off next week. Now, all week I've been hearing Saturday. All week I've been hearing Saturday. Now, if people in Dubai have been hearing it and we've been hearing it, surely the Iranians had heard about it. I mean, what are they doing sitting in that place when they should have been it doesn't make any sense to me. If people in the UK and in Dubai are getting whispers that it's all going to kick off Saturday,
Well,
does that make any sense to you?
Well, they were in a bunker, weren't they? You see, the reality is they can only run so far. They've got to be in a bunker. I mean, what I'm surprised is that they're all in the bunker together. But
I was going to say, I've been in the house 100 miles away.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is surprising, but I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great. I think the Israelis, they did it with Nasrallah as well. That he was in a bomb-proof bunker under I think an apartment block, and they dropped one of these, penetrating munitions on it, and it went straight through the apartment block, straight down, burrowed into the bunker, and took him out in the bunker.
Yeah.
That was the Hezbollah guy. So, I think it's absolutely amazing what the Israelis are doing.
Let's have a little look. What have I written down here? We've got so much to get through tonight. Where should we go from this? What about the people of Iran, Richard? I mean, I think they said that there's about 10 million supporters of the Ayatollah. And I think did they say 40 million supporters of a regime change? Do you see big celebrations out there? Do you see them actually finishing the job themselves, or do you think it's going to take more than that?
What I think will happen, Paul, I was thinking about this. If you remember what happened in Afghanistan, now obviously for different reasons, Afghanistan didn't work because it was way too tribal. It wasn't sophisticated enough society to basically capitalize on what the Americans did. What the Americans did in Afghanistan after 9/11, they sent CIA units in, Green Berets, Rangers, Delta Force, SAS, SBS, Special Forces, embedded them in with the Northern Alliance. And what they did, they just rolled forwards with the Northern Alliance, Special Force guys. There was no actual proper boots on the ground until some time after. It was Special Forces guys. That I would imagine will be happening. And again, I'm sure, who knows whether our guys are out there, doing what they do best. You would like to think the Americans want them there, but maybe Starmer's vetoed them because they've all got to be ready to go on trial for any war crimes that they've allegedly committed in the last 30 years. I mean, the Starmer regime is disgusting. But so anyway,
we'll get on to that. Carry on.
What they did in Afghanistan, they basically embedded special forces, CIA security guys, CIA operators who were working with the Northern Alliance, and they rolled up Afghanistan very, very quickly with massive airstrikes and special forces embedded with the local tribesmen. It didn't work because the local tribesmen were all too corrupt and infighting, and the Taliban managed to push back. And again, we know what happened after that. The Brits and the Americans went in and tried to sort of do a hearts and minds and start planting rainbow flags all around Afghanistan. Of course, that wasn't really fitting for the culture, and it didn't work. But anyway, there's more to it than that. I've been flippant with that. I mean, the lads that went out there served extremely well. It was lions led by donkeys, wasn't it? The British government didn't have a clue how to deal with Afghanistan. The soldiers did a brilliant job with what they were given.
Not even the right kit.
What didn't even have the right kit. I mean, that they were in those, those snatched Land Rovers, getting hit by roadside bombs. So, it's in terms of what they'll be doing in Iran, they'll be doing exactly the same. They'll be doing exactly the same. The Israelis and the American Special Forces will be embedded with Iranian dissidents and probably training them if they need trained. They'll be getting defections from the IRCG. They'll be getting defections from different, areas of the Iranian military, the Iranian police. So that's what I would imagine they'll be doing, Paul. So there will be American and Israeli boots on the ground, but they won't be officially on the ground, and it'll be operators doing what they do. So yeah, I think they'll wrap them up pretty quickly. But it is deeply ingrained, and it's not going to be none of these things ever happen peacefully. It's going to be vicious. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Richard, I'm going to put a comment up on the screen that I want you to let me deal with. Okay, so just bear with me on this, right? Curse UTK, United Kingdom. Richard, how do you feel that Rupert Lowe has received 2 credible death threats as a result of what you've been saying? Now, I'll speak first, and then if you want, you can go after. Because first of all, those death threats that have allegedly come through to Rupert Lowe are as of a result of what Layla Cunningham said on GB News. Was it GB News or Talk TV? One of the two. So to aim that at Richard isn't just unfair, it's actually sick. But there you go. I'll leave it at that. Richard, if you want to make a comment on that, but personally, I'll just leave it.
Talk about mirroring. I mean, what they're doing by doing that is putting me... Listen, I've had threats. Oh, we're going to get you at the UTK march and all the rest of it. Okay. I bet you don't. The reality is, Paul, I've mentioned Rupert Lowe once in respect of the way he treated Ben. I haven't attacked Rupert. If this is the problem.
Yeah, same as me.
Look, what I said about Rupert was, I've said it. I shouldn't have said what I said about Rupert or Carl Benjamin because I was personally insulting towards the people because I was angry with them. But I haven't once leveled any accusation of Rupert Lowe being a neo-Nazi or far right. I've never said that about
neither have I, Richard. Neither have I. And I did a little experiment this afternoon, which I'll put up later on.
If I could finish, Paul.
Yeah, go on.
What I have said is that people very close to Rupert are racists. That's all I've said, and I think there's evidence to prove that, and I can produce the evidence. I could produce it tonight if you wanted, and I think that's a fair thing to say. And the deafening silence from Restore about the racism that has been leveled at patriots that have been in the movement a lot longer than these little boys, that have been, sitting on Rupert's lap. These people are our friends, and I'm not going to sit by and allow racism to happen. So if anybody's attacking me... Someone
in the chat there is saying define racist.
Well, if you don't know what racist is by now and you're in this movement, you should really go and sit in a dark room for a few days.
Would this do? This was aimed at Baraka.
I tell you what, that would be good. Or even maybe he's put up the Carl Benjamin post from Twitter. That would work.
This was also aimed at Baraka. Yeah. I've got the. I don't want to get too much into this tonight, Richard. But we're going to stand our ground. Yeah.
No, not that one. The Carl Benjamin one, because it was overtly racist. The tweet.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Guys, if you want to see the definition of racism, that's it there. So it's okay if you're from England, Scotland. They don't even mention Northern Ireland, so obviously doesn't like Northern Irish people either. But if you're all those different shades, it's not okay. Carl Benjamin put that up yesterday, okay? Or whenever it was. It might not have been yesterday. But Carl Benjamin has that. I don't know if it still is. It was on his Twitter page. Now, if you think that's acceptable, somebody wants to be a leader in a new political party.
Someone's asked the question, define what racism is. I mean, this would do for me. You're black, blacks can't be British, you belong in a mud hut in Africa. So, I would class that as pretty... Now, Richard, before we go any further, earlier on, I sent it to you, actually. I put a post on my community page, and I did this deliberately. I intended to leave it there and up until the show began to see what the response was. But it only took 15 minutes. So I took it down after about half an hour. No, about 20 minutes. And I put this up, and I'm going to read what I said. I said, lads in the British Army, the best in the world, get together to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. That's what they were doing in this video. I've never met any of these boys, but I'm proud of each and every one of them. Good luck telling some of them that you're going home. Unite means effing unite. We all know who the real enemy are, and it ain't these lads, right? Now, I put that up, Richard, right, deliberately, and within 15 minutes, the abuse that I'd received for putting that up, our lads in our British Army wearing the fucking uniform, right?
Yeah.
And the abuse that I was getting, and people saying, this is the funny bit. People were going ballistic, saying Rupert never said this. I never said Rupert did.
No,
you didn't say Rupert did. They've got it in their heads, like they're not even listening to what we're saying. Nobody is, neither Richard or I have said that Rupert is a racist or his daughter a racist.
No, let me be very clear. Let me be very clear about what I have said, because I think this needs to be qualified, right? I was extreme, and I still am angry with what Rupert did, that Rupert didn't join with Advance, because we're getting the blame for dividing people. We didn't divide anyone. Rupert Lowe was invited to join Advance UK on a number of occasions, and even openly offered a merger by Ben Habib. He turned that merger down and very insultingly told everybody just to join Restore UK. That's what he did, okay? Now, I don't care how many members Restore UK's got. I'm not interested. I'm not in Restore, and I'll never be in Restore UK. It's a party that's now in competition with the party I'm in. So I've got a right to say what the hell I want about them politically, right? That's called freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of conscience, right? Which I will exercise. And I don't care how much hate I get. I don't care how many people try to bully me or intimidate me. I'm standing my ground. I will not bend. I will not waver. I know what I'm saying is true. I know what I'm saying is right. It wasn't Ben Habib that caused this problem. And I don't need to say any more than that.
So I'll tell you what I want to go back to just for a second, Richard, because that comment has kind of got my juices flowing in the respect that when someone says, I had that in the comments with that picture, right? There were comments that I put up. Let me just put the picture up again. So some of the comments that I received after that, putting that up, was, oh, look, even our army are in the minority. And there were other comments there that I couldn't even repeat, right? I'm not even sure that they're coming from our people. I think they're coming from agitators, right? Yeah, there you go. There's a could the racist remarks be coming from the left or those that want to bring us down? It really does sound like that's what they would like to do. Now, I've never met a patriot. Personally, I've never met a patriot that would slag these lads off. And I tell you what, if anyone wants to do it, why don't, instead of having to go at people like me and Richard for trying to unite people, why don't you go and see these lads yourselves, the black ones and the white ones, tell them to their faces and see how you get on. These are our boys in the army. These boys are putting their lives on the line for us, and you slag these people off.
If we go back to the 1980s, Paul, when I was in the regiment I was in had a lot of black lads in it from Huddersfield, Leeds direction. Great soldiers, and to a man they were all boxing, really good boxers. They're all on the boxing team, all mates of mine, right? And I would put them up against 10 men that are spewing this racist bile, and
And I could say that Lubna has had another bout of absolute appalling grief this evening as well. So I just want to get clear. Hold on, Rich. Hold on a minute. Yeah. What I want to get clear to everyone tonight is that the efforts that Richard and myself have been putting in this week, saying, hold on a minute, we're not going to put up with this racism. It's got nothing to do with Rupert Lowe.
No.
It's got nothing to do with Restore Britain. That's in your minds. What we've said is, well, yeah, you're right, Richard. What we've said is that some of the people that have been energized by what's been going on have come out of the woodwork. And when people say, well, where's the racism? Well, there it is. And I've got to tell you, some of the stuff that's been sent to Based and Bougie, I can't even put up on the screen. I can't even put it up on the screen, right? Yeah. Now, that's not a movement that I want to be a part of.
Paul, we always said, me and you have always said this, and we've been locked, and again, I apologize for being angry. In fact, do you know what? I don't apologize for being angry. I'm not going to apologize for anything, because I'm being calm now, because I'm trying to explain things very calmly so people can actually listen. and understand exactly where I'm coming from. I have always been against overt, disgusting, ethnicity-based discrimination. It's wrong. I've always been like that. Like I say, when I've served with, black lads in my regiment, when I was out on patrol in Belfast, a guy in my team for 2 years was a black lad from Somalia. Well, his heritage was Somalian. He was one of the lads, went on the beer with us, great crack, came to my wedding, So I just won't tolerate racism, and I'll call it out. And if I see it, doesn't it, if Paul suddenly became a racist, right, and started goose stepping around the place, right, putting a little black moustache and a funny grey hat.
It's amazing what you can do with a bit of electrical tape.
I know. I would fall out with him. I'd fall out with him.
I mean, Richard, we'll deal with this one. Look, the tea lady, you don't like us. Yeah.
Who doesn't? Sorry.
I don't know. I think she's saying. I think she's saying that we don't like her. I don't know what she means.
I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about
maybe I've misread that, but that's the way that's the way that I see it. We're trying to get into some positives as well. Should we try and have a little bit of a laugh?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think that I'm probably gonna keep trying to not explain anything, but just repeat my position, right? Well, just scroll. But there's in fact, I'm looking at these comments. Even the comments. Some of those comments are just annoying me.
Thank you, Tony. Phil says, "Thank you, Phil." Richard, we love you, brother.
I know you do, Phil. I mean, the thing is, there's some great people. I've got some great friends and supporters, and I would rather have 10 or 100 great friends and supporters than 10,000 people who will betray you at the first. First time they disagree with you, they stab you in the back, and they start. I used to follow Richard, but he's this. Okay, well, don't follow me. Okay.
It's very fickle, isn't it? I mean, I've had the same, mate. Like everyone's entitled to their opinions. You don't have to. I mean, to lose, not that it affects us, right? But to lose 500 subscribers,
I don't get any money from it anyway, Paul. So
people really are that upset by you having a slightly different opinion.
Yeah.
It's my old mate Des, who I'll be seeing very soon. Thank you, Des, so much. I really appreciate you, my friend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Julie, we have your back, lads. Thank you, Julie. Sydney, I've had your back on X-Rich, got myself locked out for 12 hours. Sodom, you have the morals,
bless you,
mate.
Sydney. Bless you.
It was worth the ban.
Yeah. Bless you. I mean, it is a very real problem. It's a very serious problem. I mean, obviously, Tommy's out in America, so he's got too much on his plate to deal with this. But I would think when Tommy gets back that we'll sit down and have a chat with him, and when he's aware of who's done what and who said what in terms of people that used to walk with us and used to be friends of ours and the way they've changed. I mean, the Bo Dade thing, Paul, that Lubna played the other day on her channel about the way you're speaking about Ben and Based and Bougie. I honestly couldn't believe what I was hearing. Absolutely.
Yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't
anyway,
good.
Let me.
I want to talk, by the way, I want to talk.
Can I just.
Go on.
Yeah, no, sorry, Paul, go on ahead.
I want to talk about Lubna as well, very briefly. Yeah. Charlie, thank you very much, Charlie. Hey, Paul and Richard, big love to both of you guys. Ish, you both go above and beyond. Thank you, Ish. I've got to tell you, Ish, right? Richard and I spend our lives talking to each other, trying to help people, trying to make things work, move things along, trying to calm people down. We work full time in this business, right? We work full time, more than full time.
I start at 7 o'clock every morning, and I very rarely get to bed before 12:30. And as you know, Paul, I've been doing live streams, trying to do the Christianity thing as well. That's fallen by the wayside for a bit because I've been so stressed about all this. But we both of us, Paul, put an absolute shift in on this. Can I just say, Paul? There's a couple of things I do want to say. If you want to, you talk about Lubna first. Sorry.
I was watching.
My wife said was, "Don't interrupt Paul when he's talking." So I'm going to try. I'm going to see my wife. Yeah.
She's got her head screwed on, Richard. She'd make a better presenter. Right,
Well,
so
yeah.
I want to talk about Lubna for a brief moment, because I saw poor Lubna earlier on her channel getting very distraught, getting upset. She's been taking a load of grief again, particularly about being a grifter.
Oh, we all
Now,
get that.
I want to make one thing very clear. Lubna doesn't know I'm going to say this, right? So she has no idea that I'm going to say this. Lubna did a GoFundMe last year after she had to leave her home because she was getting death threats. Now, for anyone that doubts what Lubna was going through, I saw it firsthand. I saw it. She's not lying. She's not making it up. I guarantee you, she was having incredible death threats. She was being harassed, abused. She's got 2 young children. It simply was not safe to stay in her home. And by the way, she lived in goddamn Luton in the lion's den. But she still chose to speak out for us, for the indigenous British people, for white people. There you go. How about that? She spoke up for us. Now, in return for that, she's currently being abused by certain people, accused of being a grifter. Now, that GoFundMe that Lubna did last year, that was my suggestion. I said, Lubna, why don't you set up a GoFundMe? She said, I don't want to do that. I said, no, go on, darling, you do it. I promise you people will support you, right? She did it. They supported her. I didn't get a bloody penny. I mean, it was just my idea, right? So I'm just putting that clear, because the next thing people will be saying is, oh, you had something out of it. No, right? It was my idea for Lubna to set that GoFundMe up. I donated towards it. So did many other people. And that poor girl deserved every goddamn penny of what she got. And it got her and her 2 little kids out of Luton. So I'm proud that I played a role in that. And the people attacking her now are disgusting. I've got a couple of super chats I want to read.
Sorry, before you do that,
go
Paul,
on,
can
Rich,
I just
go
comment
on.
on that? I want, because you've been called a grifter as well, Paul. And
All the time.
I don't know if I have, but I mean, no doubt I have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But let people understand, Paul, how much your income. You used to do watches, right? Your thing was watches. You didn't do any of this politics bollocks. And let's be honest, in hindsight, I'm going, why do we even bother? Do you know what I mean? To be brutally honest with you. But
there are times, yeah.
Yeah, but you stopped doing the watches. Now, I think, I could be wrong in this, I think you said your income dropped by 50%, or was it more than that? 70%?
Oh, it was more than that, mate.
More,
I lost 7 grand a month, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So like, just a massive drop in income, right? And nobody called you a grifter when you were doing your watches, right? Nobody was saying. So all of a sudden, because he actually does something that's profitable and is going to save the country, all these people that call me and you grifters call Tommy a grifter as well. Call Lubna a grifter. And the reality is, when you start doing this, it's basically impossible to get a normal job and to get normal income, because no one will employ you. Because believe you me, I've got a small business on the side, makes very little money. And the reason it makes very little money is because I've been wholesale cancelled by clients who don't like my politics and that's the sort of country we live in. So if I get
Richard,
any money,
I can't even get a Manscaped advert on my channel. I mean, damn, what we get is Manscaped. I can't. We don't get any of that.
I mean, we're not that. I mean, that would, but totally, Paul. I mean, this is the whole thing. It's
don't go there. It doesn't bear thinking about.
I'm not, mate. I'm not. I'm not going there.
Stop. Stop. Sharon, Richard. I met Richard. You were lovely. Behind you and Paul, you're absolutely amazing. The pair of you. That is so lovely, Sharon. Thank you. Sharon. Yeah. Now, here's another one. Guardian Mose. Hey, Paul and Rich, I've gone for an X detox. Mate, I don't blame you. I shut my X account down. Why is everyone attacking each other on X? Are we even fighting for the same cause? Why can't the right unite? Now, look, Guardian Mose is someone that in the past has criticised me. I don't mind. He was absolutely entitled to do that. I have no grudge against him whatsoever. And I'll go as far as saying this. I'm not sending Guardian Mose home, and I don't want to. And I'm not saying that Rupert does, right? Get that in your brains. I'm not saying that Rupert does, but there have been thousands of people on X this week that tell us that they do. And what I'm saying is, I stand with Guardian Mose. right?
Me too, me too. And I met Guardian Mose, and we had a great chat. I did an interview. Actually, I've got the interview somewhere. There's that much has happened since we had that amazing conference in
Yeah.
London. I've got the interview with Guardian Mose. I must get that out. It was just after I was fighting with the lefties. All these keyboard warriors. I don't think they've ever fought with anyone apart from online. But um, yeah, I mean, Guardian Mose, great guy, stand-up guy. And obviously, here's the thing: the
Patriot.
reason that I'm fighting with people that claim to be on the right, that are throwing about all these racist comments, and the reason I'm standing against it and standing up for my friends is because of people like Guardian Mose, because they would send him wherever. I don't know. He's born and bred here, but they would still try and send him to some foreign country. This is how crazy it's got. And anyone that's talking about nativism, anyone that's obsessed with ethnicity, anybody that's obsessed with demographics is pushing a certain narrative in a certain direction. And don't get me wrong, the arguments that they make, they're very clever people. They can make very, very clever arguments, and a lot of people are getting radicalized, and a lot of people are getting sucked in. Now, this is a point I want to make, Paul. What that is doing is taking away from the real danger to this country. And the real danger of this country comes from the far right, these crazy racist ethnonats. It also comes from the Islamists. They're, I think, the biggest threat. And it comes from the communists who are actually controlling the country at the minute. And of course the globalists. So they're the four different points of attack that we're facing. And why is that? You know, we're talking tonight about Iran and what happened in Iran. Iran was an Islamo-communist takeover of the country in 1979. Once the Islamo part of it had got the ascendancy, they killed all the communist part of it. But that's what happened in 1979. Two good friends of mine, Elvis, who both of them are dead. Elvis, not Elvis Presley, you know, because that Elvis Presley, we all know he isn't dead. He's living somewhere, along with you know, Epstein and all the rest of it, and the Ayatollah. So we all know Elvis isn't dead. But my friend Elvis passed away a few years ago, and he was an Iranian Christian. He served in the Iranian military before the revolution, and he had to flee after the revolution. Great guy. He told us all about what was happening in Iran and what happened before the revolution. It was the communists and the Islamists joined together. Another one, Mustafa, who was an ex-Muslim who became a Christian. Great guy. Passed away again a few years ago. Again, and I wonder, a lot of these guys died quite young, and I wonder, was it the stress of seeing their homeland being torn to pieces and having to live away from the country that they loved? Because these were genuine refugees, Paul. You know, these guys were real refugees. And you know, it's heartbreaking to see our movement getting torn apart like this. It is actually, you know, it actually makes me feel physically ill when I see everything that we've worked for, right?
Well, I could have walked. To be honest with you, Rich, I could have walked away earlier this week. You know,
Paul, me and you both. Me and you both. I mean, if you know,
but that's what people would like. You see, people would like us to walk
that's
away.
Right, and that's why I haven't.
And that's why I wouldn't.
Because who needs the aggro?
Who needs the grief? Yeah.
Who needs the grief? But the bottom line is, do you know what I do? I go, do you know what? My country's more important. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying is true. I know it's right. I know that God's on my side. And you know, there was an old Catholic bishop way back in the 4th century, and he was standing up for the doctrine of the Trinity against heretics. And he was on his own. Even the emperor was against it. And the emperor got him in, and he said, Athanasius, the whole world is against you. And Athanasius turned around to him and said, well, then I'm against the whole world. And that's my stand, Paul.
Yeah.
I don't care. I literally don't care if people, you know, I don't like it. It's painful. It's difficult.
Let me pick up this one, Richard. I'm just looking at this on the screen. Someone's asking you to define far right.
Define far right. The real far right. Well, the real far right are the people that we're seeing attacking us in the comments right now. It's as simple as that. These are the people.
I think that's a little bit unfair. Rich, let's have a discussion on that. Hold on a minute.
Let me answer the question. So the real far right are basically people that exalt ethnicity above everything else. They want a pure race. Okay. Whereas I think we've always said, Paul, we're interested in what's the content of your character, not the color of your skin.
Yeah.
You know, is your heart red, white, and blue? If you don't mean that, you know, then we should stop saying it.
You do understand, though, that people are so fed up with that term.
Paul,
Because what we've got here,
me,
Richard, hold on. What we've got here is we do have a large amount of people like you and me. We've both been labelled far right. And there's a lot of people out there right now probably watching this saying, I don't want to hear that expression again because I've been called that and I'm not far right. So that there are also, whilst there are some genuine people out there that are genuinely horrible, there are also a lot of good people out there that are so sick and tired of being called far right that they're going to say, well, can you define it for me?
Yeah, well, I've just defined it.
Yeah.
It's basically people that exalt ethnicity above everything else. Simple as that. Well, I mean, there's other things. Okay, if we're going to talk about fascism and the far right, first of all, they will exalt ethnicity above everything else, and their nationality is more important than anything else, right? So that's the first thing that they'll do. The second thing they'll do, they will seek to destroy democracy and install a totalitarian state with a Caesar type character leading it. Remember that was what the Nazis based themselves on the
You're
Roman
describing
Empire.
the Labour Party, really.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm describing other people, but that's the MO. That's what they're about. They want a dictator. They want a strongman. They don't want democracy. They just want someone to lead them, right? So that's when you see those signs where people are exalting ethnicity above everything else. They're wanting a strongman leader. They're wanting a totalitarian state. They're wanting to have draconian laws to carry out draconian actions. Well, that's pretty much the definition of the far right. Okay, and that's what I'm seeing in certain quarters, Paul. That's what I'm seeing.
My definition is probably slightly different to yours. It's probably a bit simpler. My definition would be certainly. You see, I'm a little bit older than you, not a lot older than you. For me, when I was growing up, the real far right, what we would call the far right back in the day, were the people that hated the Jews. They wanted to, they had sort of real strong anti-Semitic feelings. They hated anyone that was black. And that was pretty much it. And when I say they hated them, they didn't just dislike them. I mean, they truly hated them. So my definition of far right probably is more of a 1970s, 1970s definition, really. Modern day, I mean, look, listen, the term means nothing, does it, anymore? I mean, everyone's bloody far right.
Yeah. I suppose that, people could say, I mean, the reality is, Paul, is I'm looking at the comments, I'm getting bored of this. I'm getting bored of the comments attacking us. Just
ignore them, mate. Just ignore them.
It's embarrassing.
Basher gang, 30 bombs in 3 minutes will penetrate anything. I was imagine it would. Sharp bite, Paul, turn your mic down a tad, make it bearable. I hope I've done that a little bit. I hope it's not too loud. Visual UK, sorry I'm late, guys. Bloody kids. Hello, Richard.
Paul, could you do me a favour? Take those comments off the screen because they're actually annoying me. I don't want to see them.
Yeah, you want them off?
Yeah, I just don't want to see them, mate.
There you go.
I'm that sickened by this, right? I'm that sickened by these people that are attacking me that, I don't read any of the comments, but,
The problem is they are doing it deliberately to try and get you going.
They are.
Right?
They are.
So don't let them get you going.
I'm trying to stay very calm. I wasn't going to do this live stream tonight, right? I was going to pull out of it because I'm that annoyed by what's been going on, right? And what I'm seeing, and let me just be brutally honest about this. Let me just be brutally honest to all you scumbags that are stoking an ethnic war in my beautiful country. You have no idea the Pandora's box that you're opening. People that are putting those memes out, like that one that Carl Benjamin put out, which was blatantly racist. And if people can't see that, right, anybody that can't see that that's coming in this chat, then you're blind. And what we've got is the blind leading the blind. And you know what happens when the blind lead the blind? You both fall into a ditch. That's what we're dealing with at the minute. Now, I will stand for what's right, no matter the cost. And I know I'm right on this. And I will not, on any of my channels, on anything I do, tolerate people that are attacking my friends with vile, disgusting, racist abuse. I'm trying to stay calm. Because if I had any of you guys in front of me, I know what I'd do, right? It's disgusting. It's absolutely despicable. The problems in our country are not about ethnicity. How many Hindu suicide bombers do you know? How many Sikh suicide bombers have you seen? How many Nepalese Gurkha rape gangs are there? How many Chinese rape gangs are there? I don't think you find too many. And what these people are doing, partly out of cowardice because they're scared to look at the real elephant in the room, the real problem in this country, which is radical Islam, communism, globalism. They're the real problems in the country. They're the problems that I've been fighting against for the past 10 years, that Tommy's been fighting against, that Paul's been fighting against. So my question to you is, where does your game end? Have you thought it through? Have you thought through where your games end? When you're saying,
good point.
we want to base our politics on ethnicity. How's that going to work out for the country? What you are planning, and this is why I'm so incensed by it, what you are planning is a race war with no winners whatsoever, that would tear our country into a million pieces. And I've seen by the rhetoric of people like Bo Dade, very, very dangerous men, incidentally, not hard men, not tough men. You can tell by the way they talk, you can tell by the way they look. They're not real men, but the men that make themselves feel good by abusing and hating people purely and simply because of the colour of their skin. Well, in my book, that's despicable. It's disgusting. And there's a lot of these men around, and they've been energised by what's happened in the last fortnight. I'm not backing down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to raise my... Well, I am angry, but I'm not going to raise my voice. But let me make it very, very clear. We're on the right side of history. And we will prevail. And we will win. And when I say we, who do I mean? I mean the backbone of this great country. The good people. The people that love the country. The people that want the country to prosper. The people that came to the UTK demo last year. All different backgrounds.
Great crowd.
Religious creeds. Men, women, children, all different age groups. They're my people.
Yeah.
And people that are hating people because of the colour of their skin, you're not my people, and you never will be. So I'm standing on this, and like I say, if I have to stand on my own, I'll be like Martin Luther. Here I stand, I can do no other. So
and by the way, if anyone wants to clip Richard Grill's speech there and use it to slag him off, be my guest.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Because that's what I believe. That's what I believe. So you can do what you want. You can do what you want.
Yorkshire Tea, thank you. You are two great blokes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yam's physical catalogue of media. It's crazy. You both, Jeff and Richard and Baraka, get hate. Listen, I'm convinced, Richard, it's not as bad as we might think, right? I'm convinced that this is trolls. These are people that are getting in to break us up, to divide us. I don't even believe that a lot of them are even on our side. So I'm not bothered by them.
No.
Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. And Reeg is a new member. Thank you. Steve, support you both, Richard and Ben, all the way. Thank you. And Yams again. Mo's lovely. Followed him since he started YouTube. He is indeed a great lad. Even when he had a little dig at me, do you know what? I never went off him one bit because I think he's a great fella. And I love his passion for the country. I really do. I really do. I tell you what, I've spoke to one of my friends, Richard. You might find this interesting. We've got over 3,000 people watching. It's been a decent audience tonight, considering that Tuesday is live as well. Got a good friend, a very good friend, a very close friend that's currently out in Dubai. And I spoke to him earlier for just to see what was going on. Let me just play this. If you want me to stop this at any time, Richard, just put your hand up if you want to interject, yeah? I'm joined by my friend who is live in Dubai, David. David, good evening. Can you tell us the latest situation out there as a Brit living in Dubai?
Yeah, evening, Paul. It's one of mixed emotions, to be honest. There's some people that have been in the room for a long time, and there was always the fear of Iran being just across the water. But I think that the general consensus is no one thought that they would actually hit the region, because the amount of Iranians that live here, and obviously the amount of Iranian capital and cash that sits in the region. So I think a lot of people are surprised by the actions and also the speed in which it's escalated. It's due to probably get worse through the night and maybe into the morning. And then I think we'll see it sort of ease off slightly. But yeah, mixed emotions really.
So was there much of a warning? I mean, did you see this coming this week in the build up to what's happened, or did it come as a complete surprise?
No, I think it's been a process. You look at when they had the 11-day war previously, I think it was last year, there was certain telltale signs on both, and it felt like it was the same. I think a lot of people in the know here, some, a few of my friends here are ex-British Special Forces, so I had a good insight into it to make sure that I shipped my family back to the UK. But
so have they now left? Have they now left? Dave, have they now left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I shipped. I moved them back last Thursday when I had a real feeling that it could go the way it has.
Yeah.
So I've been in the region a long time, so I think experience tells you, right?
Yeah.
But, they got there and had some good information, so I just thought that it's best to be on the safe side, really.
So they're back home now.
Yes, they're back in the.
Lost you, Paul. You muted, mate.
This is what I don't get, Rich. This is what I don't get, Richard. Right? He's a lad that's been out in Dubai now for about 4 or 5 years. He knows the region, and he knew this was coming. He knew it was coming so much that he actually shipped his family out on Thursday. Right. So if he knew this was coming, he's quite a well-connected guy out there, right? He's quite well-connected. But at the end of the day, if he knew it was coming, I'm bloody sure the Iranians must have known. Let's carry on.
The UK.
So technically, you technically at the moment, if you wanted to leave, you couldn't, right?
Well, the airspace is closed, so the only option really is across the border to either Saudi or Oman. But I've just been reading reports that Oman are raising sirens, which I'm very surprised at, because they were the peacekeepers of the negotiations.
Yeah.
Which obviously broke down. They were due for round 3, which fell apart. I think the US pulled out, which again was a big indication of what was going to come.
Yeah.
But to be fair, even today, there was missiles overhead being blown up the sky, and people are going about their normal life. Or there's people in beach clubs, there's people in restaurants. Even now, there is people in restaurants having dinner like nothing is happening.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit unreal, isn't it? I mean, have you actually seen any action yourself? I mean, have you seen anything, any missiles, or have you heard anything?
Well, what I have seen is obviously the interceptors here are fast. I would say that the UAE government, when it comes to defence of missiles, given Iran across the water, and the biggest threat is the amount of missiles they have. They don't scrimp and scrape on defence, and obviously the government have been first class in terms of doing what they can, right? But with I forget what it is they have, not the Javelin. But it's basically a US system they have here.
Yeah.
That takes the missiles out of the sky.
Patriot.
And they've got them positioned along the coastline, as most countries would have, but also they have sort of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So tier 1 is along the coastline, tier 2 is a little bit more inland, tier 3 is sort of closer to the desert.
Yeah.
And what happens is, as they fire, they take them out high, but obviously when you take out a missile, you've still got kinetic energy coming from it.
Yeah.
So although the missile's been neutralized, it's still got trajectory. And that's what you're seeing hit set parts like the Palm, got hit the Fairmont Hotel. Where else was it? City Walk, which is near the Burj Khalifa. And there was a Dubai Hills as well that took a hit, minimal compared to what the damage would have been if the missile had actually landed. So Patriot, that's the system.
These are all places that a lot of Brits, myself included, will have been and visited, and it's quite surreal to see this unfolding on the TV. What's the general feeling amongst the British community there, the expat community? Are they just cracking on as normal? Are they considering, leaving, or what's the score?
Yeah, I think everyone's risk appetite is different, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
a lot of Brits that have been here for a long time are a bit like, whatever will be, or inshallah, as we use here, it's a bit like God willing, whatever. But then also what you've seen in the UAE recently, due to the demise of, unfortunately, of the UK, is you're now seeing a lot of younger Brits come here. And with that, obviously, they've never been in a war zone or seen missiles being fired. So they're, of course, panicking. You're thinking like, you know, early 20s. You've never seen anything like it. But on the same breath, there's a lot of them that are out on the balcony filming it, watching it, laughing, having a drink. I think that's because it is almost so surreal, because no one expected
They got to be Brits doing that.
it to happen, certainly in the UAE. But all I would say is from Iran, and I'm in the middle of an uprising, and I'm now firing across at the UAE, where, you know, there must be billions, trillions of dollars here of Iranian money. They're going to be seized, no doubt. Those accounts will be seized. That's only going to fuel the uprising in Iran. Yes, it's an interesting one. Really.
So what are you expecting now over the next
different nationalities?
Over the next couple of days or so? You know, are you sort of sitting under the stairs? Are you expecting more, or what are you going to do?
I mean, from my perspective, I was, I feel, given some of the sort of knowledge I've been given along throughout the day, and some people who far better know than me, I think it's going to escalate through the night. Now, certainly to the early morning, and I feel now with the attacks on the mainland here, it's not just been, from what I'm understanding now, it's not just military targets, which was originally going to be the plan of the Iranians, and now that there's ports of drones. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but I also know a drone is very slow moving compared to a missile, so chance of them being shot are far higher. Yeah. But what will happen is, if it continues, the UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, they will all now launch attacks against Iran. And the Brits have got planes in the air here as well. And there's 250, 300,000 Brits here, if not more. So I think Iran has potentially overstepped. I think they're going to feel the full force of the US, Israel, the Brits, and actually the whole of the GCC. I think that's what we'll see over the next 48 hours. Yeah.
It's not great, but hopefully it's all done as quickly as possible with as fewer people as possible getting hurt. Mate, thank you so much for coming on and letting us know. I mean, look, it's still probably safer than London, so.
Yeah, actually, ironically enough, one of my guys said that to me. It was like, the ironic thing is, when it's still safer than London. And what does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Did make me chuckle, but yeah, I think we'll see a further escalation through the evening, early hours of the morning. I think the US will go to level Iran. Now, will they be able to do that as quick as they feel they can? I don't know. Obviously, history tells us it's not quite as easy. If you look at Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff like that, very mountainous. Iran has lots of hidden nooks and crannies. But I don't know. Also, part of me feels a lot of it is theatre. A lot of this was preordained, I feel, but yeah, I think time will tell. Most Brits are just hunkering down. Yeah, most Brits are just hunkering down.
So there you go, Richard. Most Brits are just getting in their bunkers and carrying on doing their usual thing. Let me just answer this, Lesanne. I put a question to Paul online today, and he was a bit rude in his response, then deleted his post. I'd like to ask him for an apology. It was a bit uncalled for. I'm not rude. Lesanne, I deleted that post deliberately. It's the one that I showed you earlier on with the soldiers. I can't remember what your comment was, but if I was rude, I apologise. But there was there would have been a reason. Now I'm trying to remember your question, but I can't actually remember it. If you want to put it again, I'll answer it, and I'll explain to you whilst I might have been sharp in my responses. Let's have a little look. Richard, any comments on the call there?
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing call, Paul. Well done. Really good scoop, because it gives an insight of what's happening in Dubai in real time, which
Yeah,
is
and he's been
absolutely
there for a long time. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows the. And he hangs around with a lot of former SAS and
Well,
SBS lads.
there's a lot of SAS lads living out there now, aren't there? Because
Yeah.
I think obviously there's a lot of work out there in the Middle East for those guys.
Yeah.
So fair play to them. Yeah, I think it was a great call. Really, really, really good, Paul. So well done. I mean, I think from the point of view of what's happening, I think the not the destruction, the defeat of the Iranian regime is inevitable now. I don't think they can survive, Paul, and not without them coming across and saying, actually, we're gonna start working with the Americans and start working with the Israelis. But I don't think the Iranian people will allow it to survive. I think it's really, really, I think it's really finished, to be brutally honest with you. So I think
It's very telling, isn't it, that the Green Party are standing with the Iranian regime.
Oh, mate. I mean,
The tip whisperer. Let's talk about David
Yeah.
Paulden for a little bit. What a weird individual he really is, isn't he? And that Anna Spencer up there. I mean, in another lifetime, she'd be tried for treason, though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the whole point is, I mean, I can't understand how it's still, I just can't understand how the Green Party's done what it's done. And
It's great, Richard. It's really good marketing. I mean, look, let's get it right. To a lot of people, when you say the Green Party, they still think of a bunch of harmless, animal-loving, vegan, tree huggers, people that care about the environment and want to save the whales and all the rest of it. But they're gone, aren't they? They're gone. That's it. That party has gone forever.
They all have, but the thing that worries me is, Paul, and this is where, and again, this is where I think I've been very, very misunderstood in the last 10 days. I want to see unity on the right, but you can only have unity without sensible people. So I would, and I think if we, there's a reason why I'm saying this. If we go back to the cause of this problem, was Nigel Farage and the way he behaved. And the way Richard Tice behaved towards the people on our side, called them that lot. We won't have anything to do with that lot. And that was pretty much everyone that supports Tommy and that goes to our demos and so on and so forth. So that was me, all my friends.
Yeah.
So these weirdos that are accusing me of being some sort of seller, I can't believe it.
Well, look, I'm going to pick up on this one. Look, it says, so arrogant to smear everyone with a brush. So after today, I will join Restore. Now, if that's aimed at you, I'm not sure. It may not be, Richard. He may be talking about someone else, to be fair.
I'd say it's aimed.
No, I think they're talking about someone else because I know that is a good guy. So I don't think he's talking about you. So R100, I mean, mate, some people out there that are not really very clever, are they? Look, so why are, let me go. Let me go.
Actually,
why are 100,000?
I'll speak to Matt after this. I'll speak to Matt about this after this. I'll speak to you about this after Matt.
Right.
I'm going to phone you after this live stream. I'm going to phone you.
Ty, nobody said. Watch my lips. Nobody said that 100,000 Restore supporters are wrong. Nobody said that. Richard's never said it. I've never said it, and we've never said that they're all racist. Is that what you're saying? No. Do you not listen? I support.
I give up, Paul. I give up. I mean, I've known this guy for 10 years.
I support.
9 years.
Let me get it clear again for everyone out there. I love what Rupert Lowe says. I support Rupert Lowe, and I support his aims and his ambitions for this country. But here's the but: if he's not careful with who he has around him, Restore will be finished as fast as it started. So, Ty Haggis, and I'm not trying to be rude to you, my friend, but for God's sake, listen. Nobody is saying that 100,000 Restore supporters are racist. Never in a million years. A lot of those people that have joined Restore are members of Advance. I stand with 99,500 of those 100,000 members, but there are people that you need to be very careful of. God, how difficult is it to explain the bleeding obvious?
Paul, this guy is a mate of mine. I talked to him on the phone. If you're going to say something, Matt, send me a message. Don't do it in the chat on send me a message in the phone. I'll be talking to him after this. I'll But the point is, Paul, right? The point is about that. We're not saying that the 100. I can't remember what that comment. Put that comment back on the screen again so I can see it.
There you go.
Are we so 100%? So 100,000 Restore supporters wrong,
Where did that
racist.
come from? Where did
what
that
you're
comment
saying?
come from?
Right now, let me be very clear. Right, the 100,000 people that have joined Restore have
Beautiful
joined Restore
people.
because they want hope. Right, and let's get it right. The policies that Restore has on their website, I agree. I think with every single one of them. And this is where people are going to get confused. Okay, but let me explain. That's not the issue that I have with Restore. The issue I have with Restore are the people that are wrapped around Rupert Lowe. I've seen their social media pages. I hear what they say. I've watched them. I've seen Carl Benjamin's tweets. I've heard what Connor Tomlinson's had to say about people not being able to stand as MPs. I've heard their rhetoric about nativism. I've seen the way they're playing ethnicity as an electoral tool. I don't like it. And I believe I'm absolutely right in my analysis. The 100,000 people that have joined Restore, many of them joined Restore when it was launched as a movement, which incidentally they were promised it was never going to be a party. It was going to be a movement to bring everybody together. But now it's a party that's saying we're going to gobble everybody up and we're going to be the big dog in the house. Okay, whatever. But never once have I said anybody that's joined Restore is racist. But what I can say is that there are people who are wrapped round Rupert. Yeah, Carl Benjamin. Carl Benjamin is, let's just say, very close to Rupert Lowe as far as I can tell.
Ty, what I want to say to you is this, my friend, right? And I don't like exploding with anyone, right? I'd much rather just talk it out friendly. But listen, mate, you need to understand this. You need to understand this, brother, right? Is that nobody has said any of what you're thinking or surmising that's being said in your comment there. What we've said is, and I can't speak for Richard. Richard doesn't speak for me, and I don't speak for Richard. I speak for myself. What I'm saying to you is this, is that I want Rupert to win. I want all the things that Rupert wants. I want all the things that probably 99.9% of those 100,000 people want, but we won't win it with comments like this on social media.
From a very now, is he in the leadership? I don't know, because this is the other thing, Paul. We don't know who's in the leadership.
We don't know. We don't know
because there's no transparency. There's no leadership structure. You got Rupert and Rupert's done great. The Rate Gang inquiry, absolutely first class. You know, of people that were basically.
Rupert's not the problem here. Rupert is not my. No, I haven't got a problem with Rupert.
It's again, and because we've got a certain amount of insight from different people, and again, I'm not going to break confidences, but we've got a certain amount of insight from different people. It's not Rupert that's the problem. It's the people around him are getting in his ear that are causing problems. And if I don't highlight that, right, I'm not insulting the 100,000 people that's joined Restore. Many of my friends are in Restore, okay, when it was a movement. Ben Habib joined Restore. So what am I going to say? Ben Habib's racist? Ridiculous. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a very, very big problem at the heart of the thought leadership of those young men that needs to be addressed.
I'll put it even more simple. Guys, you want Restore to win, then get them to get their act. They've got to get their lines drawn in the sand. They've got to draw a line in the sand and say, this is acceptable, this isn't acceptable. Now, if we want to win the next general election, and when I say we, I mean all those that want the right things, whether it be Restore, even if it was Reform, Advance, it doesn't matter. We want the right thing. We all want the right thing. We all want the same thing, pretty much. If we want that, we're not going to win it with remarks like that. It's a no-brainer. It's not even a.
Exactly, Paul.
It's not even a quiz.
What I've been trying to say, and again, because I am very, very concerned about this, because I fought against this for years, right? And actually, Matt's stood with me when I fought against it as well. So, like, let's have a conversation about this. And I will phone you straight after this live stream. But
the one thing, Rich, to be
what I
fair
wanna
to
see,
him,
Paul,
he might not have meant it. There might be more
Yeah.
context to the
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
right? But this is the problem. When you see questions written, it's like the person that asked me
Yeah.
for an apology earlier on,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what my answer was.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been that rude. It might have been a bit sarky, but it wouldn't have been rude.
Yeah.
When you write
Here's-
things down, it doesn't always come out the way people mean it.
Exactly. My desire, I've got friends in Reform. I've got friends in Advance. I've got friends in Restore. The sensible ones.
We all have,
I hate Richard because he said hurty words about the boys that are in Restore. Yeah. Okay. I've got friends in all those parties. I would love nothing more than to find a way that all those parties could come together.
Yes,
into one
amen.
block.
Yeah, amen.
Right? Into one block to win an absolutely massive majority. And I would go even as far, look at people like Nick Timothy in the Conservative Party, Caccino in the Conservative Party. There's still some good people even in the Tory Party, right? I would love to see, and if anybody's listened to me and what I've said down through the years, I would love to see some way of making sure that Nick Timothy doesn't lose his seat, because he's doing more to stand against Islam and Islamism than any of these nutcases that are attacking me, right? He's the one that's taking a massive stand in Parliament against Islamism more than anybody else. Nick Timothy, go and look him up if you don't know who he is. Caccino, she's the same. And I'd love to see those guys keep their seats in the next election. I would love to see my local MP, who's a personal friend of mine. He's not going to be in Advance. He's not going to be in Restore. He's a good friend of Rupert Lowe, incidentally. And he's a good friend of mine. You know, so when everyone's just seeing this in a very binary way, you're not fully understanding what is being said. Now, what I'm saying is that on Farage's side, if he tacks too far to the left, he'll lose massive support on the right, which I think he's already done. And that's why Advance got set up.
Correct.
Advance was set up as a very moderate voice, actually, but quite hard, and hard enough to deal with the problems that we're facing. And that's why I still believe in Advance, and that's why I'm still a member of Advance, and that's why I hope Advance stay there. Because if Advance go, I will never join a political party again. I tell you that here and now. Advance for me is a last chance saloon politically, and if Advance go, I'm not joining another party. I'll still be politically active, but I ain't going to join another party. And I don't think Advance are going to go. I don't believe they will. If they do go, I think that would be a massive loss to the movement. Because Advance to me is the sweet spot. It's like me and Ben said, it's the Goldilocks zone. It's just right. Okay. But what I want to see is all those political parties and all those people in those political parties coalescing around ideology that is something similar to the pledge, which is absolutely what is needed for this country. And that means people from Restore could do that, people from Advance could do that, people from UKIP could do that, people from the SDP could do that, people from all those moderate parties on the centre-right could do that. And join as one and come together and say, right, how are we actually going to do this with all these different moving parts? How are we going to make this machine work and win the next election? Now, believe you me, with the hatred and the bile that's been spewed at me for expressing an opinion that's perfectly legitimate, how can we ever unite with people like that? And also the fact that a lot of this has been allegedly people have been paid to have a go. There's people from that section of things that are saying they want to destroy Advance, that's their stated aim. They want to destroy Advance because they see it as a threat. So how can we unite with that? You see, so the problem is, I want unity, but the unity has to
come from everyone.
And it has to be in the sweet spot where on the Farage side, you don't have all these failed Tories who are left-wing, basically Liberal Democrats, and on the Restore side, you deal with the ethno-nationalism and the racism that is lurking in plain sight. And it is. I'm not saying everybody in Restore is, not at all. There's loads of my friends.
Of course not.
So that sort of question, if I've come across saying that, maybe it's a communication problem from my side.
No, Richard, to be honest with you, mate, it's not a miscommunication. I think you've been very clear. I've been very clear. And look, mate, the bottom line is we've got to face facts, Richard. Look, I've lost 500 subscribers this week because they...
So have I.
don't like
Okay.
me. They don't like me for sticking up for our friends.
Yeah.
Right. And, I've got a couple of messages coming on my phone here. The lovely Howard Cox, right?
Yeah.
I'm devastated to be leaving Howard in advance
Yeah.
this week. Devastated, but I've done it because I need to be able to be seen as non-biased. Howard says you are both on the right side of history. Remember that. Lots of love.
Thanks, Howard.
Thank you,
Bless
Howard.
you, brother. Bless you. So, do you know what a diamond, what an absolute diamond of a man.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
if
One
we
of the best.
Here's the thing about Howard. People don't realize what he's actually done. And he's such a humble guy. He has saved the British motorist billions of pounds. Billions.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And he's such a humble guy. And Howard said to me, when we did the live stream the other day, he says, Richard, I'll come on your show anytime. There's not too many people like that.
Yeah.
And I could start digging people out that don't come on the show that, well, I'm not even going to go
Men
there
like
with that one
Howard
tonight.
Cox are a very, very rare commodity. I've got another message here from a very good friend of mine. He's very, very switched on. He says, watching your live, Based and Bougie, Baraka, Lubna, Maya, and others are all fantastic and actually proactive defenders of Britain
Yeah.
and its culture.
Yeah. Mayor Tusi's another one has come out shining in all this, Paul. He's come out shining because he has taken a stand for what is right, and he's taken the hits as well. He's taken the hits. So Mayor Tusi, I must actually send Mayor a message again. It's getting the time to do it all. This is a real battle for the soul of our movement. So I'm certainly not.
I want to give Jeff Taylor a big Richard and Jeff Taylor. I spoke to Richard and Jeff over the last couple of days, and I've got to tell you, I would stand in any trench with Jeff and Richard because these two love their country. Jeff is a former a serviceman. What the hell? These boys are getting obscene grief.
Jeff Taylor was on the submarines. Jeff Taylor did special forces training, right? So don't be underestimated by, Jeff Taylor's a man, in his late 50s or early 60s, whatever age he is, right? Don't be underestimating these men that you look at and you go, oh, he's just an old man, or he's just a man in his middle ages, or whatever. Yeah. Most people that are getting involved in this abuse know nothing about us. They don't know anything about what we've done for our country, what we've gone through to do this. They haven't got a clue, Paul, right? And Jeff is an absolute gentleman, and Jeff getting abused, and Maya getting abused, and Lubna getting abused, and all our other friends. And Danny, look, me and Danny Roscoe have had mega bust ups, right, down through the years. Last time I saw him at the Christmas thing, we gave each other a big hug, right? We don't agree politically, but do you know what? We were men enough to go, we don't agree on, because he's obviously UKIP, I'm Advance. Give him a big hug, That was the last time I had any contact with him, and I heard he was getting the abuse, and I'm going to stand up for him. I'm not, I'll take the hits for them.
Unite the Kingdom, people are trying to tear it apart. Clad CO2 lad, Paul and Richard, the real threat has left and woke us useful idiots. Richard exposed the right also have idiots too. Both are going to get more extreme to prove themselves to their own group for acceptance.
Brilliant. CO2 lad. Another really good lad. CO2 lad. Brilliant.
Julie, you can't leave. You're stuck with us now. Sorry, lads. Julie, we ain't going anywhere.
No, we're not going anywhere.
We ain't going anywhere.
I've been through far worse than this. So, this is not,
Tony, Richard and Paul, just ignore the comments. Thank you so much for that. Brute Life 2314, the current climate isn't born out of hatred of others. It's born out of desperate need to have something of our own. I get that. I'm 30. The country I've inherited is a shithole.
Brilliant
and
comment.
No one asked for it. Well done.
Brilliant comment. Now, and I want to just say something here. This is what Unite the Kingdom is about. It's about building something out of these ashes, because we all know what's happened to the country, and this is why it's so frustrating. Anybody that's watched what I've said and my rhetoric for the past 10 years knows exactly where I stand on all this. I know who I blame. And do you know the thing about this? This is Paul, right? And this is going to trigger people, but it's just true. Do you know who sowed the seeds of this? Upper class, left wing, white men.
White people, yeah.
Upper class, left wing, white men that hate the British working class
and women. Don't forget women.
People like Tony Blair, People like, what was that dreadful woman that said about White Van Man? Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't remember her name now.
Emily Thornberry.
Emily Thornberry, yeah.
Emily Thornberry. You know, people in the BBC, these dreadful, disgusting, and they're predominantly white people. Of course, there's the horrendous people like, what's that? I can't even pronounce her name. Shaloba, Abaloba, or whatever her name is, and Kehendy Andrews, and all these dreadful, dreadful people.
Yeah.
They do it as well. But
the DIYs.
The DIYs, you know. Professors of black theology at some obscure university in the Midlands. But, you know, we know what the problem is. And what we're saying is we've got a way of addressing it as peacefully as possible. Addressing this problem will see conflict. But we don't want to see a conflict that destroys our country and tears it apart forever. We want to see this addressed in a way that gets rid of the extremists. So we don't have hate preachers in mosques anymore, and those mosques are closed down. One of the advanced UK's policies was no more churches gets turned into mosques, banning the burqa, banning the niqab, banning the hijab. I mean, all of these things would make a massive difference.
Richard, go steady, because apparently you're a lefty now.
Oh, I know. Well, they should see the video I made earlier about who I'm going to deport, because the lefties are getting deported. I'm with Nick Tenconi on that. We're going to send them to North Korea and China. But, you know, so, and I'll say where I absolutely agree with the store, their policy of I don't agree about, I'm going to get in trouble here. I don't agree about the kosher thing, because it's such a small percentage of meat that's slaughtered. But halal slaughter is a massive problem, and halal slaughter needs to be banned. And I believe you ban halal slaughter, a lot of Muslim extremists will leave the country. Simple as that.
Julie says a big hug for you, Richard. Thank you,
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Yam's physical catalogue of media. Race wars need to stop, including anti-whites. All racism. Baraka is black, Guardian Moses Chinese, and Ben is half Pakistani, and I stand by them. Do you know what? I'll tell you something about Baraka. I met Baraka up in London, and he's only he's not a big lad, you know, he's a young man, right? And yeah, okay, he's not English, he's got an accent, etc. But you can see in his eyes, he's a good kid, right? He's a good young man. He's obviously had good parents. He's been brought up in the right way. And I sat and watched him nearly in tears the other night because he's confused. He's confused that he now feels that the people that he's been supporting with all his heart actually really hate him. And it was devastating. I'd say to him, mate, listen, brother, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We got your back, right?
100%.
You know,
100%.
And at the end of the day, I just think it's vile. We should be getting together. Oh, that was one of the questions. Do you know what? The person that asked me to apologise earlier, and sorry if I'm wrong here, I think the question was, because I said on that picture, we all know who the enemy is. And they said, so who is the enemy then? And I said, do I really need to answer that?
Mm.
We all know who the enemy is.
Yeah.
Baraka's not the enemy.
No.
Right?
No.
Guardian Moses is not the enemy. And anyone that thinks they are is living on a different planet.
The enemy, I mean, and I'll elaborate on that, Paul. The enemy are the Islamist organizations like the Muslim Brotherhood, some of the political organizations from Pakistan and from Bangladesh, Islamist organizations, and the Iranian influence. Again, I've got to be careful what I say because some of these groups will sue you. I mean, Muslim Brotherhood and the others won't because I'm not naming them. But there's a number of organizations, Islamist organizations, that have a massive amount of influence in this country. They're influenced the political direction, and they will be laughing along with the left. They'll be laughing their heads off seeing this infighting that's been going on, right? They will be loving it because it takes the fire away from them, you know. You need to hate this country. Mate, listen, do you know what? They can stuff the logarithm where the sun don't shine, Alan.
Look at this one.
Mate,
Trish says,
idea.
Richard, you are my Lionheart, a man with a backbone that so many people who are calling you awful names are cowards and so bloody spineless.
Love you, Trish. Love that comment.
Trish, check a be in the post for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. but yeah, I mean,
Debbie, good news, gents. Tuesday ended his live a few minutes ago.
oh, we should have loads bailing in then now, shouldn't we? Let's start talking about Iran then. Let's pick up where Tuesday
became a new member. Thank you very much.
Actually, getting back to the Iranian thing, Paul. This could be an amazing thing for the world if Iran becomes a democracy and really kicks back against this mad, crazy Islamism that's been going on. One of my slight worries is what you've got in Iran, right? Is Shia Islam. Okay, Islam's basically split into two different doctrines: Sunni Islam, and it's all to do with succession. Sunni Islam and Shia Islam. And Shia Islam, I think, makes up less than 20% of Islam globally. And obviously Sunni Islam makes up the rest of it. And then Sunni Islam split into sects, and the Shias are split into little different sects as well. I think the Alawites in Syria were a Shia sect. So anyway, the reason that's important is if Iran falls and becomes some sort of secular democracy and the Iranian people, get that really Islam's probably not a great idea for their country, well, that's going to be great. But what worries me is you've still got groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and all those groups, which are Sunni Islamist groups, and will they try and capitalize on the fall of Shia, the Shia in Iran, and start slaughtering the Shia Muslims in Iraq like they did? Because obviously that's what ISIS did. ISIS went through Iraq and killed tens of thousands of Shia Muslims. Will that lead to further conflict in those countries? And I mean, all these things are things that kind of they're the unforeseen consequences of what's going on. But I think if Iran does become a secular democracy, and a strong secular democracy with a strong military, it could be a beacon of light to the whole world. So it could be an amazing thing. So
I'm more worried about the UK. I've got to be honest with you, but there's a couple of other things I want to get through, Richard.
See, Paul,
I know it affects it. Yeah.
The reason it affects the UK, if we see a stable Iran that is prosperous and based on Western values, and it succeeds as a country, then that's going to bring stability where there's a lot of instability. Now, if it turns into a sectarian civil war in Syria and Iraq and other places, then obviously that's going to be a problem for the whole world, because then you'll get the refugee flows coming through Turkey, coming across through North Africa, and we'll be seeing an even bigger influx of refugees, which will absolutely end up in Calais with a little taxi service from Border Force until we get a decent government into power that's gonna deal with that. But and they're like that brings us full circle, Paul, because that's why the right needs to unite around a set of principles that no right-minded person will want to base their political ideology on ethnicity. Yeah. No right-minded person will ever do that, because it's not going to work. Nobody with any ounce of sense, if you have English nationalism, Scottish nationalism, Irish Republican and Ulster nationalism in Northern Ireland coming to the forefront, you end up with Northern Ireland on steroids. And then you add into that mix violence from the Islamists and the Islamists getting restive, and then non-white populations feeling threatened, and they start getting the bottom line is, Richard, if we hadn't have been betrayed by previous governments going back 30 years, none of this would be happening. No, because the British people are tolerant people.
Yeah, we're very tolerant.
And those 100,000 people that have joined Restore are British people, and they're tolerant people. They are just desperate. Because, I mean, my wife says to me, she says, "Look, when I see what I'm seeing in my town," she says, "I don't like it." She says, "I'm not," and she's not racist. She loves Baraka. She loves all. But when she sees people in the town with hijabs on, and little kids going to school with hijabs on, that's not what Northern Ireland's about. And of course, now I'll get all the lefties saying, "Oh, you're a racist." No, I'm not. What we're saying is, we understand why people are angry, and we understand why people are scared. And when you look at the demographics, we understand all that. But the answer is not to circle the wagons and basically say, well, we're just going to stay here as our, as our little ethnic bloc and fight to the last man, because I think we can do better than that because of who we are. I think we should be able to influence people coming into our country to be Christian, to respect democracy, to respect the rule of law. The problem is the left have done such a hatchet job on us. The DEI people have done such a hatchet job. And yes, there has been anti-white racism. If you can have Black Lives Matter, you can have White Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter were exalted as heroes. White Lives Matter guys went to prison. That's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not an ethno, as everyone knows, but what I'm saying is it's wrong to discriminate against anyone because of the colour of skin. And white people have been discriminated
we have been discriminated against
100%,
badly.
100%.
Cobra Gaming, thank you so much. Race or colour shouldn't come into it. You can still be a patriot and love our country. Absolutely. Richard, there's a couple of things I want to get through other topics. June, thank you so much. Tish, Richard, let go and let God. You two wonderful boys are right. Restore being launched calls this disunity. Ben for 10. Thank you for that. Tony, two great guys. You both work hard, so effing damn hard. Appreciate all of you both do. Have a pint on me, Richard and Paul. Thank you so much, Tony. Claire Bear, my lovely moderator, also been a member for 20 months. Paul, Richard, you only have to see the amount of viewers that are calling these people out on your behalf to know that we stand with you. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you to all my mods. A couple of other things, Richard, slightly off topic. A 38-year-old has been arrested for that horrendous attack on the Winston Churchill statue in London. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the picture of it?
No, yes, I saw the picture of the statue. I haven't seen the picture of the guy that did it.
No, I haven't. It's a 38-year-old man with a foreign-sounding name.
Get him out. Get him out.
What should happen to that individual, Richard?
Throw him out the country immediately. Deport him.
I'd actually go further than that. I'd give him at least a 2-year jail sentence and then
the
throw
only
him
reason
out.
we'll put him in prison here is because
costs money.
Why should we pay for him to sit in the prison?
No, but I'm going to disagree with you there. I think he should be punished for doing that.
He should be he should be punished. He should be punished.
He should be punished.
I mean, it's disgusting. But I would.
And watch him all free, Richard. Watch him. Peter Lynch, God rest his soul, went to prison for a lot less, right? Lucy Connolly went to prison for what they said was inciting violence, right?
Yeah.
Now, that man that did that, and anyone that does that, is very lucky to get away without a patriot or some patriots. Exactly.
Who the hell is? I want to know who he is. I want to know who his parents are. I want to know what his background is. And I would get him out. And I tell you what, I'll be looking at his parents as well. And if his parents have brought him up to be like that, and they're not from this country, I'll be looking at getting rid of them as well. Do you know what I mean?
Second thing I wanted to speak about was, and this is very off topic, Ian Huntley, the absolute bastard Ian Huntley, got attacked this week with an iron bar. I see there's a GoFundMe page being set up for the iron bar.
Well, look, I mean, here's the thing. I remember those absolutely dreadful, diabolical murders. My daughter was about the same age as those.
Mine too, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, right? See if these people that carry out these attacks, I would love to be in a room with them myself. Just give me 5 minutes with them, And do you know what? For these people that have done this, and the people that raped the daughters of England, there's only one solution for them, Paul, and it's the end of a rope. It's as simple as that. For that, we should bring the death penalty back. And again, this is another restore policy to have a referendum on the death penalty. I agree with that. I think we should absolutely for particularly the rape and murder of children. That should be
100%. 100%.
Now, again, obviously, I'm aware of what happens with miscarriages of justice, but the problem is everybody in prison's innocent. As a mate of mine spent a lot of time in prison, he said everybody he knew in prison was innocent. There was nobody guilty in prison. They're all innocent.
Yeah, we had this discussion the other day. It's a really interesting one, Richard. I mean, for me, I'm in favour. I mean, Ian Huntley is the the perfect example of someone that does qualify for the death penalty. He's
And
DNA proven.
Axel flipping whatever his name is.
Axel Rudabakana,
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
You know, DNA proven, no shadow of a doubt.
You know,
there's no chance of any Timothy Evans.
The Lee Rigby killers.
The Lee Rigby killers,
absolutely, And I look, I've always been, I'm always wary of the death penalty because if you, it's like anything, it's incremental, isn't it? You bring it in, and I don't believe somebody that smacks someone in a pub and they fall down and bang their head should get hung, right?
No.
Like that's, but sometimes people could get done for murder for that, right? I think a very good friend of mine, actually the guy that tackled the jihadi on London Bridge with a narwhal tusk, Steve, right? Good mate of mine. He murdered someone. That was his background. He murdered someone. He went into prison, boxed and did Muay Thai for 20 years, came out. First day he's out, he gets confronted with a jihadi and absolutely smashes him. So
what are the chances of that, eh?
Yeah, talk about. He's written a book. The book's absolutely brilliant. But a really brutal. He had a very brutal life. He had a very violent life, and then he got into prison. And when he got into prison, he said, "I am never going to be violent again." But he trained at martial arts for 20 years. Wasn't he went through the whole prison system. Didn't have one fight in the whole time he's in prison.
First day out and he's on his toes.
First day out and he's on his toes with a jihadi. And saved a lot of people's lives, right? There was 2 people killed, and he said he had the most respect for those two people that were killed. So, thankfully the jihadi was killed. The police went in and they flipped and put 6 rounds in him.
That's the one where they found the bullet in the bus after, didn't they?
Did they? I don't know.
They found the bullet lodged in the bus. Yeah.
Well, they put a few rounds through him, that's for sure. But
they did. Yeah.
But
not enough. But there you go.
That's proper order. And the same with the Lee Rigby killers. They got to the Lee Rigby killers. And they didn't shoot. They shot them, but they didn't kill them.
Yeah.
But I suppose if they killed them, they'd have been on a murder charge, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? So,
that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. But there's the thing, though, Richard. I was going to say, for me, with the death penalty, it has to be certain levels of crimes, and it has to be completely DNA proven.
Absolutely, absolutely has to be absolutely nailed on,
without any shadow. Nailed on.
Because the problem is, yourself, Paul. It's not the first. Especially the way things are politically. It wouldn't surprise me if we got another left-wing government to start fitting people up for crimes they haven't committed. And
Richard, that's another subject. Look, listen, I don't know how long you've got. You're all right for a bit.
I'm fine. I'm not.
I want to talk to. There's a couple of other things I want to talk to you about. But I just want to get through a couple more supers. The audience have been very generous with the supers tonight. Thank you. I never ever asked for these, by the way. For all you lot, call me a grifter.
Yeah.
Neos, the restored dust will settle soon. Ludicrous remigration stuff is all just talk. True Brits will never be booted. Keep your eyes on the prize. Unite the kingdom. Good message.
Amen to that, brother.
Michael, the outcome of this depends on whether the people in Iran turn on their government or not. Absolutely. If they don't, this war is unwinnable.
Yep, I agree.
It won't be bloodless unless was it the IRC or something? Yeah, IRCG laid down their arms. Julie Blackman, thank you, Julie. Sadly, it won't happen now due to small-minded people.
We'll keep going, Julie. We'll keep going.
Yams again. Andrew Bridgen and Howard Cox, very, very underrated.
Totally agree.
Clad, thank you. The selective reasoning shows how the state, council culture, indoctrination and MSM have made people's minds binary. We used to be able to hold multiple opposing ideas in our heads and resolve solutions.
I still do that, but that's because I've got multiple personalities.
That's called schizophrenia, Rich. Cobra Gaming, race shouldn't come into it. You can still be a patriot.
Yeah.
Talking about schizophrenia, one of the funniest football chants I ever heard. Do you remember the footballer? What was his name? Steve something or other. I'm sure people will
Steve Wise.
Pardon me?
Steve Wise, no?
No, he played for Leicester. He was a striker, Steve someone. I can't remember his name now, but he was a diagnosed schizophrenic. And the away crowds used to sing, "There's only two Steve." What was his name? Steve. Oh, I got me his name.
Superb.
Official Knights Templar. Is civil unrest inevitable after the 2029 general election?
Yeah, Yeah, it is.
I
And I'll
think it
tell you why
probably
it is,
is.
because if the right win, then the left and the Islamists are going to go bonkers. If a good right wing government that does what needs to be done, you know, in terms of the Islamist problem, if a good right wing government wins, then the left and Islamists will go boogaloo. If we don't win, and we're all political hope is lost for another 4 or 5 years, and we have Zach Polanski and Angela Rayner in coalition with Ed Davey, you know, Ed Davey doing the Pirates of the Caribbean impersonation, and Angela in the dinghy with him, and Zach in the dinghy with a whole lot of burly North African men surrounding him and stroking his ego. Then I think
Reckon it's what?
stroking his ego, mate.
Oh,
So if that happens, then I think the British people will go absolutely nuts, and I don't think there's any way. Unfortunately, now I think there's no way of avoiding a conflict. You know.
well, I think, do you know what, Richard? I think there is, and I'll tell you what that is if anyone's interested. Debbie, thank you. After tipping Richard, now it's your turn, Paul. I understand why you left the college. Thank you, Debbie. And you are an ethno-nat, apparently, because you're a Zionist, Richard. I'll let you deal with that one. I'll let you loose on that one.
Let me just explain what a Zionist is, right? A Zionist is someone that believes that the Jewish people have a right to a homeland, their ancestral homeland that's promised to them in the Bible. If you read your Bible, you'll understand why I'm a Zionist. And I would suggest start by reading through the book of Genesis, and very quickly you'll go, okay, so God did promise that land to the Jewish people. That's if you believe the Bible. If you don't,
and I believe, Richard, I personally believe that all nationalities, all races and people, I mean, Africans have the right to Africa, British people have the right to Britain, Scottish people have the right to Scotland, English people have the right to England. Does that make you an ethno-nationalist?
No,
Who knows?
No, I don't think it does.
NZ Lander for Richard, keep up the great work from a Kiwi fan. There you go, Richard. That one's for you there.
And I think Paul, getting back onto that about 100%. I'm a proud Englishman, right? And listen, all these scumbags that are attacking me, I don't think many of them really serve their country, right? I don't think many of them probably put on a uniform. Some of them maybe did, but I put my money where my mouth is, numerous occasions. So I have nothing to prove to anybody, right? But some of the people, this little baldy guy with a beard, I'm not going to mention his name. Said I wouldn't mention anyone's name, but I'm looking at him going, mate, what have you ever done other than set up quite a successful YouTube channel? That doesn't actually make you right. It just means that you're good at gaming the algorithm, you know? So that doesn't mean that your opinion matters. Just means you're feeding into a certain narrative. So
Bastia says Advance UK couldn't even beat a joke candidate in Gordon and Denson. You say that. You say that with some pleasure, it seems. I don't know why you would get some pleasure out of that. This
is a guy that's using the term UK, right? It's a derogatory term for the United Kingdom, right? So these are people that wrap around Carl Benjamin, you know, because Carl Benjamin with glee. This is Carl Benjamin that posted the racist tweet, by the way. With glee, uses the word UK derogatively about the United Kingdom because he's a little Englander. He doesn't care about Northern Ireland. He doesn't care. He doesn't understand that the UK is a united kingdom for a reason, because it's far better being a united kingdom. And I just hope he doesn't come to Northern Ireland, because he might get himself in a bit of bother with those sort of views. But there you go.
There's one or two here, Richard, that I'd like to read out just to wind you up a little bit, but I don't think I need to do that tonight. It's probably not a good idea, is it? It's probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea. I've got a punch bag out the back here, so I'll just flip and keep the neighbours up.
Yeah, get out there, and you haven't got a cat, have you? I hope not.
No, it died.
Oh, sorry, Richard.
It's ages ago, mate.
Oh well,
I got the blame of it. It wasn't anything to do with me.
Starmer will be gone at the 7th of May at the latest. Now, look, something that I wanted to pick up on, Richard, and it's something that you said earlier on. I think it was you. Or was it David? I spoke to David earlier. I don't know, one or two of you, right? Somebody said to me earlier on that the reason that Labour wanted to do away with jury trials, was that you?
Could have been to do with Tommy, was it?
No, okay, so it might not have been you. Anyway, I was talking to someone earlier on, and they said that one of the reasons that Labour want to do away with jury trials, actually it was Jeff Taylor. is that
Oh yeah, I was talking to Jeff about that too.
juries now are in such danger of being corrupted by sectarianism
It's
that
mad.
juries could actually be a waste, well, not a waste of time, but an absolute danger. For an example, could myself, could Richard, could Tommy, could, I don't know, anyone in the movement, could we get a fair trial?
I would say it'd be almost impossible for me or you to get a fair trial, Paul. Yeah,
You know,
especially at the minute. I mean, how am I going to find 12 men who are going to judge me fairly without
well,
bias?
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Richard. Here's the thing, right? It's like America in the 1950s, right? Now, if you was a black man in the 50s in America, you didn't want a trial in Mississippi.
Yep.
You wanted it in Philadelphia or something, right? You didn't want it in Mississippi. Now, that's the way sectarianism is going in the UK now. Is that fancy someone like us going on trial in Yorkshire, in West Yorkshire,
In West Yorkshire or Birmingham
or
you know?
Birmingham, yeah.
Man, do you know, I've often thought about that. I mean, it's definitely stacked against the Patriots. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean,
It's a crazy prospect, isn't it? When you think about what the absolute mess that we are in, it feels at times almost irreparable when you look at the situation that we're in. We look at, let's talk about the tip whisperer for a minute, Zach Polanski, right? A real chancer, a real proper chancer. The girl that presented herself as a plumber is actually, I believe, I'm told by reliable sources, comes from a very wealthy family, lives in £1 million plus house.
She was obviously good at the pipes then. She was good at clearing pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she's not a plumber at all. You know, she's not gas certified or anything like that. She's just born with a silver spoon in her mouth, right? And at the end of the day, when you look at what the Greens have become, when you look at sectarianism, the cheating, the family voting that's gone on, that's been turned a blind eye to, that's illegal. I can only say, excuse the language, but fuck me, what a mess we're in.
Well, Paul, when we made the Rape of Britain films, just for those people that think I'm a lefty and hate me, those films that Tommy Robinson made wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for me. Simple as that. Or they wouldn't have got made when they were, because obviously Tommy had just come out of prison. The opportunity was there. We put a team together, went to Tommy and said, we've got this opportunity. And obviously the rest is history. We made, four amazing films. Wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me, but there you go. But when we were making those films, one of the things we had how much can I say about this? We had someone who was a very experienced intelligence operative, who was able to get us information on who was living in the houses. Because obviously we had to track these people, follow these people, get trackers on the vehicles, get cameras outside the houses, get cameras in the workplaces, go and do surveillance in the workplace, all that sort of stuff. So we did all that. But one of the byproducts of that, Paul, was we got lists of people that were registered in their houses. And in one house, you would have 20 men. Right? And maybe 8 of them would have been called Abdul Muhammad Rahim. Then somebody else in the house would have been called Rahim Abdul Muhammad. Then would have been Abdul Muhammad. Then there would have been Rahim Muhammad. So we found out from that, and this was information from the electoral register, right? We found out from that basically there was massive voter fraud going on in Telford, and that you can repeat that through every single Pakistani-dominated area up and down the spine of the United Kingdom. The democracy in the UK has been subverted by sectarianism, by Islamism, by Pakistani gangsters.
And by white traitors.
By white traitors in the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, because they all played games with them, Paul. They all played footsie with them. And we're very quick to blame the Labour Party for everything, but the Tory Party were in power for 14 years and did nothing about it.
Yeah. It got worse under the Tories, didn't it?
And
so
sadly,
they're no better.
we know that Nigel Farage was having dinner with Islam. Well, I was going to say Islamists. We don't know if there is with Muslims and charging them £25,000 a chair at the table. That's on record. That's a fact. That was, the Guardian exposed that, beginning of 2025. So that's what we're dealing with here, right? So so this is why I get so vexed about all this nonsense that's been going on, because one, we've been fighting this fight for a long time, and we know what the fight is. And the fight is not about what your skin color is. The fight is against radical religious fanatics trying to take over our country. That's where the battle's at. You can work out whether you're white English, brown English, whatever shade you want to be. So that's what we need to do. We need to get rid of the Labour Party. We need to get rid of all these lefties. We need to persuade people on their side that we're right. Here's another thing, Paul. We need to win people over. If we come across as swivelized extremists, we ain't going to win anybody over that's in the centre ground. Yeah?
Yeah, that was my point, Richard. I mean, I made a video about that the other day and got absolutely hammered for it. We have to face realities. Reality is that we're going to need, 10 million votes to win a general election?
Well,
probably more.
To do what I want them to do, we need a similar sort of vote to what Brexit got.
Yeah, so 17 million.
Yeah, what I would love to see is a completely right-wing dominated parliament for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? And to do that, and this is what we talked about with the pledge, to do that, you need to get the same amount of people voting, 16, 17 million voting for a right-wing coalition or
so the message is for those people out there that thinking we're knocking Restore and knocking Rupert Lowe, this is critical friendship. What we're saying is, let's get 16 million votes. 100,000 members doesn't equate to 16 million votes, right? And to get those 16 million votes, you got to appeal to a lot of people. 16 million of the buggers, right? And it ain't going to be easy. Blitz, Blazer Noah, I bet Starmer wasn't told by Trump or Bibi about the strikes. They figured that Starmer would have squealed the Ayatollah. I like that. Love you that. I like that.
Blitz are brilliant.
Yams again. Guardian, Mose and Baraka and Marie have British hearts.
Of course they do. And that's the whole point. That's why this has upset me so much.
When did you come political? For me, mid 2024. Yams physical catalogue. I've actually always been political. I just had to stay very quiet about it. Whilst too much to my shame, really, I had to keep my mouth shut until I could afford to retire and lose the money, and until I could afford to lose the money. I mean, mate, honestly, I don't want to keep going on about this and it gets boring, right? But when you've got $7,000 a month in your account every month just for making videos about watches, and you look at that income and you go, right, that's the last one I'm going to take. It takes some doing, right?
Yeah.
Because the moment you switch that, flick the switch down, it's gone. You don't get it back.
Exactly.
So I should have, much to my shame, I should have been doing it a long time ago, but I've got a family to look after, and I've got to tell you, mate, they come first, second and third every day of the week. And
you're doing it now. You're doing it now, Paul. And you've took some knocks. We've all took some knocks down the road on this, and for different reasons. And some of it's been, some of my knocks have been my own stupid fault. But I mean, the reality is that I know you're doing this for the right reasons, Paul. I know you're doing it because you've got a heart for it, and I know what you've done in the background as well. And I've always said that you've done a massive amount in the background that nobody sees. And I know, I mean, the networking that you've done is absolutely second to none. I used to do a whole lot of networking, and then I got sick of it. So I just kind of, I just circled the wagons. But no, I think, I became political in 1984, just going back to Yam's question. 1984 was when I became political. And that's when believe it or not, that's when I first realised that we had a big problem with Islam. 1984.
Eric Blair says Iranian refugees coming to a town near you.
Well, not the real men, because the real men want to stay and fight.
Well, if there was any Iranian refugees, they would be the leftovers from the Islamic
Republic.
the Islamic Republic. Yeah. Last one of the night, supers. Thank you so much. Don't send any more tonight because we will be wrapping it up. Thank you so much, and please give us an upvote as well. This is from Matt Carney. Society's flipped from periods of logical left brain thinking, industrial revolution, expansion of science, to emotional right brain thinking, social justice, focus on support and care, then back again. Matt, I've got to tell you, mate, you sound far too intelligent for me, but I actually did get all of that, and it was a good message. Thank you very much. FFS, read your chat. Richard's quiet. Yeah, apparently your mic's...
Yeah.
Richard, I'm going to have to buy you another mic.
I know, I've
been too loud. You've been too low, but it is what it is. Right.
Well, let's be honest, Paul. It's very, very rarely that people say I'm too quiet. So I'm going to.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be honest with you, I've got to tell you the truth, everyone. Right, really, I've just had his mic turned down because I knew what he was going to be like tonight.
I was good. I was a good boy tonight. I think I was very disciplined. You know what I mean? I didn't want to really to go the direction it went in, but when I come on the channel, it just kind of, it just came out. You know what I mean?
Richard. Your taxi's here. Off you go. Jump in the Uber, right?
I don't want to be an Uber with that man. He's got a drone strike coming down on him, mate. I'm not getting that Uber.
Well, he's gone now anyway. Right, guys. So anyway, look, all you lovers, your friends, even the haters, thank you for watching. Listen, if you don't like us, you don't like us, but at least we give you something. But listen, if you're watching us on a Saturday night, right? It can't be all bad, can it? So have a good weekend, everyone. Take care, and we will see you all soon. Rich, keep taking the blood pressure tablets.
Yeah.
And, all the best to you, mate. Take care.
See you soon, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.